The Democratic candidates jump on this completely unsupported, uncorroborated, unspecified story, and they start tweeting out about how Justice Kavanaugh should now be impeached from the Supreme Court. Now, this is all crap. They're never going to get an impeachment of Kavanaugh. It's a thing that is not going to happen. But Democrats are trying to provide the false hope to their constituents that if elected, they will impeach Kavanaugh, replace him with somebody on the left, and fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat. And they're trying to reshift the majority on the Supreme Court in a left-leaning direction, basically by railroading Kavanaugh on the basis of non-evidence. I will point out one quick thing here. We have had a bevy of public figures in recent years who have had their genitalia described on national television by people who allege sexual assault. Right? Stormy Daniels famously described President Trump's genitalia. Bill Clinton's genitalia. Details of such were talked about. Nobody has yet described Kavanaugh's genitalia. Now, that's not dispositive. Maybe they were generic, who knows? But the bottom line is we've had no corroborating details on any of these stories. All of them apparently happened in public places with other witnesses available, and not one witness has been there who corroborates any of these stories. It's unbelievable. And yet the Democrats are still saying that Kavanaugh should be kicked off the Supreme Court based on what? A new report from a guy who says that he was at a party and saw a male grab Kavanaugh's penis, which, by the way, would be sexual assault, and then thrust it into the hand of a female who says she doesn't remember the incident. It seems like you might remember that incident. I'm just going to put that out there. That if you're a female innocently sitting at a party and suddenly some dude comes and takes someone else's junk and thrusts it into your hand, it feels like that might be memorable. I'm going to go to the woman in the room. Jess, does that seem like a memorable incident to you? It seems like a memorable incident to Jess. I will take Jess as generic woman here because I think that is a fairly memorable incident. I think any normal person would probably remember that. And if called by the New York Times, oh, were you at a party where someone grabbed somebody's junk and thrust it into your hand? Seems like it might be memorable. And the New York Times cutting that and then replacing that back into the story is really insane. Okay, so Kamala Harris, of course, immediately tweets out that it's time for Kavanaugh to go. It's time for Kavanaugh to go. By the way, Steyer, the chief executive of a nonpartisan group in Washington, declined to comment on Sunday. But this did not stop the Democrats. So the Democrats started tweeting out immediately. Kamala Harris says, I sat through those hearings. Brett Kavanaugh lied to the U.S. Senate and, most importantly, to the American people. He was put on the court through a sham process, and his place on the court is an insult to the pursuit of truth and justice. He must be impeached. Yeah, you sat through those hearings. I remember you tried to railroad him in those hearings. In fact, you brought up Michael Avenatti's allegations that he was engaged in a chain gang rape, as I recall. So, lady, as a prosecutor, as a duly appointed officer of the court, seems to me you don't know how to lawyer. I mean, there are a lot of allegations that she has been pretty rough in prosecution. At least the people she puts in jail have a jury trial. My God. I mean, she's out there saying that he lied. What is her evidence that he lied? Does she have any evidence that he lied? Of course not. All of this is about pandering to the base. All of it is about, if I show sufficient zealousness in pursuit of Brett Kavanaugh, then I'll win a primary. It's really disgusting. Elizabeth Warren did the same thing, and Elizabeth Warren knows better. She's a lawyer, too. She, of course, knows better. But, again, Elizabeth Warren is deeply cynical. In the same way that Kamala Harris is deeply cynical, Warren's just better at it. Right? Kamala Harris is so cynical that you can see the wheels turning in her mind. You know, Katharine Hepburn once described Meryl Streep as an actress where you could actually see every wheel turning, that she was transparent. You could see all the gears shifting in her mind when she was acting a scene. Well, that is the same way with Kamala Harris. Elizabeth Warren is better at hiding it, but she is the same way. She has shifted nearly every position she ever held in order to appeal to the woke base of the Democratic Party. Well, now she's doing the same routine. She says last year, the Kavanaugh nomination was rammed through the Senate without a thorough examination of the allegations against him. Well, there was an FBI background check. And by thorough examination of the allegations against him, do you mean like a crap load of investigation by the Senate and no corroborating evidence on any of the massive allegations made against him? Like none? Warren says confirmation is not exoneration, and these newest revelations are disturbing. I love the reversal of the burden of proof right there. Confirmation is not exoneration. It's not your job to exonerate Kavanaugh. It's your job to prove, not even beyond a reasonable doubt. How about by preponderance of the evidence? Hell, how about by any corroborative evidence that Kavanaugh did this stuff? How about that? How about any shred of evidence beyond just a mere allegation? Because mere allegation ain't enough to get anything done. Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that The Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our content.